You know, custom furniture can cost an absolute fortune, but the good news is, for a fraction of the price, it is so very easy to turn plain, ordinary furniture into a real statement piece that suits your home perfectly. And this old set of drawers is just the thing we need to get started. If you've got a solid timber set of drawers that are looking a bit shabby, well, it's not too hard to make them look stylish again. And if you don't have something like this, they're pretty easy to find second-hand. Now, the first thing you'll need to do is take off all of the handles, then give everything a really good sand. Before I decorate the drawers, I want to give it an antique paint effect, kind of like a French provincial look. Now, there is a cheats way of doing this. Just grab yourself an ordinary household candle and rub it over the areas of the drawers that would naturally receive the most wear, like along the tops of the drawers and along the front here. Now, what this does is wherever there's a wax build-up, it stops the top coat of paint from sticking, so you see the timber showing through. I've chosen white as my top coat, and just so that the colour stays nice and clean. First up, I'm using a Prep Lock stain blocker. It'll just stop the yellow from the wood from soaking through. With the primer done and dry, it is on with a crisp white top coat. And to complete the distressed look, the top coat gets a really good sand. Now, this is where the wax really comes into its own, because remember, where it was is where this top coat colour can't stick. Remember to put a little more emphasis with your sanding on those areas that would receive the most wear. It's time to make this old piece of furniture shine. I want to add mirrors to every flat surface. Now, to buy a full set of drawers mirrored like this would cost around $1,000, but we can make it for a fraction of that. Just measure your flat surfaces, and because this is an old piece of furniture, which is the case with most of them, it's not quite square, so I'm allowing just a couple of millimetres all the way around the edges. So once you've got your measurements down, just take them to your local glazier and ask for 4mm mirror. And also, if you ask him to polish around the edges, they won't be so sharp. And if you work out where you want your handles to go, he can also drill those for you. To apply the mirrors, I'm using this liquid nail specially designed to stick mirror and glass. Now, you're best off not to use your regular construction adhesive because it simply de-silvers the mirror backing. Then simply sit your mirror in place. And on the vertical surfaces, if you feel they're going to slide, just add a bit of tape until it has time to set. To finish this off, what we need are some really special handles. And if you hunt around, you might be lucky enough to find some beautiful little glass ones like these. You can find them with a silver and a gold base. I'd go for silver, it matches the mirror perfectly. There we go. With just a few simple adjustments, it was easy to turn a worn-out set of drawers into a real style statement that would add a touch of glamour to any room. But if retro is more your thing, how about revamping a plain set of pine drawers? You can pick one like this up for around $50, so it's a real bargain. And a great way to add glamour to any drawers is with a new set of legs. You can pick legs like these up from the hardware store. Now, I'm going to place two directly at the back. And because I have that little kick plate at the front, I'll need to cut sections out of these ones just so that they sit flush. As my good mate Robbie Palmer always says, simply glue and screw. And just like the other set of drawers, take off the handles, give the whole thing a light sand, and don't forget the primer. The next step is to top coat. Now, the ideal paint for painting wooden furniture, skirtings and doors is aqua enamel. It's just like the old-fashioned oil-based enamel, only being water-based, it's easy clean up and has no smell at all. Okay, so now that the top coat's dry, it's time to get a bit groovy with the drawer fronts. I'm going for a zigzag pattern. Now, if you're doing something like this, you'll find it easier if all of the drawers are pulled out and nice and even, and you use a good quality masking tape. Now, if the kids have got a geometry set lying around, just pinch their set square. You might have one too. It's really handy for marking that first stripe accurately. The first line is just a little bit fiddly, but it's worth taking your time to make sure it's nice and accurate because all of the rest will follow. Now, before we start painting any colour, here is a really good tip. Just take some of your base coat colour and paint over the edges of your masking tape. That way, it'll seal them off and stop your top coat from bleeding underneath. Well, what do you know? It must be time for colour, and some of the local wildlife has stopped by to see what I'm up to. So the colour that I'm doing here, guys, is this beautiful royal blue. I know it's not quite lorikeet blue, but I think it's going to look fantastic. What do you reckon? Paint's dry, so time for the big reveal. Let's get the tape off. And with some shiny new handles, that plain, boring set of pine drawers has been transformed into something really striking. How good do these look? It just goes to show that you don't have to spend a fortune on shop-bought custom furniture. It's so easy to add personality to drawers you probably already